Straight up, kids are coming over the border with numbers written on them, phone numbers and addresses. Do we check those out? He said, well, we call them. Is it possible that we're sending them into known prostitution rings or sweatshops? He said, it's not possible. It is absolute. We are using American tax dollars to ship children into known prostitution and sweatshops.
Some children.
Well, who knows?
Okay.
We don't know. I said, are you...
So what kind of checking do they do? So
They call the number and say, do you know about this child? They say, yes. Will you receive them when they come? Yes. I said, is it possible that that's a prostitution ring? He said, we know enough to know that in a number of cases, it has turned out to be absolute sex ring. It has turned out to be an absolute sweatshop. I said, how is this possible?
Well, what do they
And he
do?
said, it is happening.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all having a great and wonderful day. Well, what we have here is a sample of corruption, the CSPA, etc. Just really just going out of its limb here to being part of a cartel and trafficking children. I mean, this is just something that is crazy. Now, granted, this is all alleged, right? And it's innocent until proven guilty. But what we have here is a border agent really just breaking the law. This is back under the Biden administration, by the way. This was not under the Trump administration. And there's a lot of crazy things that are going on. So without further ado, my friends, we're going to get into it. Okay, so what we have here is that we have border agent accused of being a cartel member was arrested after wife's lifestyle raised major red flags. Says lavish trips to Dubai and designer clothing for our federal border agent's wife were allegedly funded by his suspected membership of a Mexican drug cartel, such as told DailyMail.com. Prosecutors allege Manuel Perez Jr., an agent with U.S. Customs and Border Protection in El Paso, Texas, have been bankrolled to the tune of $300,000 to $400,000 a year by La Lina, the armed wing of the Jerez drug cartel. In stunning court testimony, Perez was accused of getting paid to let illegal immigrants and drugs into the U.S., but also of being a member of the cartel that was paying him. Federal prosecutors alleged during a hearing last week. Now sources have told DailyMail.com that his wife's jet-set lifestyle, her extravagant social media posts, and his own team of personal bodyguards were red flags before his arrest. He would party in Jerez, Mexico all the time with bodyguards, and him and his wife would always go on trips to Dubai and Vegas with all the designer clothes, a federal officer told DailyMail.com. Multiple witnesses said he belonged to La Lina cartel in Mexico. An investigator with CBP's Office of Professional Responsibility testified at the court hearing in El Paso Thursday. While federal immigration agents are from time to time accused of taking money for letting immigrants or drugs through, it's rare to hear that a U.S. official is part of a cartel. It's not very common, but at the same time, it doesn't surprise me. Retired federal agent and cartel expert Robert Almonte told DailyMail.com. The cartels have been working on infiltrating law enforcement, state, local, and federal, as well as our military. Perez, assigned to inspect people and cars trying to enter the U.S. from Mexico, at a checkpoint at Paso del Norte International Bridge, was taken into custody February 8th while he was on the job. Now, again, this is something I have to let you guys know and understand here. That the mere fact that what we have is that Biden let a lot of these people in, and he was pretty much made it legal to where, like, okay, you guys are allowed to come. You don't have to enforce the law. And that's what some of these people did. They did not enforce the law. There are actual videos shown where CBP agents were just letting illegals in. They're going through. And that's the insane part. And I want to show you guys some of this stuff a little bit later, but we're going to finish this. A photo of the arrest shows Perez, 32, in a navy-colored uniform worn by agents in CBP's Office of Field Operations. With his hands behind his back, he was led away by other federal agents who had been surveilling him. He pleaded not guilty to violating multiple immigration laws, including migrant conspiracy and drug smuggling. Prosecutors say he has also conspired to take 8 kilos of cocaine from El Paso to Louisiana and North Carolina. The now fired officer had allegedly been letting illegal immigrants through his inspection lane since December 2023 and making money off of it. He made $2,500 per illegal immigrant he let into the country, Perez admitted to investigators according to testimony. Yeah, so the point being is that a lot of agents did this. A lot of agents just let these people go through and what have you. James O'Keefe made an amazing documentary where there was a lot of people that he showed that CBP agents just letting people in, kids being trafficked, etc. It is an insane thing, and I think you guys should watch it. But it's here. This is what he is. This is Manuel Perez. Again, this is insane. Of course, this is all alleged. This is all alleged. So he may or may not have done this. He has not been sentenced yet, but it's not looking too good, right? And of course, we have this here. Mexico's Sinaloa cartel woven into U.S. communities, former agent DA says.
Have established relationships with chemical suppliers in China, primarily China. There are other countries and other suppliers like India involved, but China is by far number one. They obtain those chemicals to make products like fentanyl directly from these chemical suppliers. They're put on ships and transported to Mexico, right into the ports. From the ports, they are trucked to various locations where the manufacturing of fentanyl occurs. And then from there, they're smuggled into the United States, just like they do other drugs. They're very good at this.
Yeah, so it's not good, right? And this is what we have to be dealing with. Now, we're going to be talking about on how the Biden government and etc. have been woven this type of stuff into our country for a long time, for the past times it was in office. Some of it had to do with sex, kid trafficking, and other with illegal immigration. So without further ado, my friends, take a look.
Over $129 million in the Department of Homeland Security, $719 million from DHS. Overall, there's the white buses right there. That's the FedEx transportation hub for the unaccompanied minor children.
We use the ICE database to input the information of the kids going from shelter to shelter, and we communicate with the TSs who actually make the trips.
What does TSs mean?
The transport specialists, they're the ones that actually go and pick up the kids and take them from shelter to shelter.
They stop the transportation of children, they stop the money. A whistleblower inside MVM provided us an email written by the site manager stating that, quote, transportation specialists were taking the liberty of accepting alternative documents without federal field specialist approval. Alternative documents in exchange for unaccompanied children?
Now, we have this here. Now, we have this video talking about and showing exactly what's showing what is the CBP is doing. So it wasn't just this guy that was doing it, right? It was not just him. It was these people as well. Yeah, so these guys were actually cutting border flyers in, and maybe some were not working for the cartel, maybe some were. But despite that, this is not really surprising here, and we're seeing this here, where this guy, the border agent, is accused of being a cartel member. So this was not just a thing that, you know, maybe these people were not cartel members, but they were being allowed by border agent or being allowed by the Biden administration during that time. That is clearly what we're seeing here. And there's still more information because a woman was not allowed to do this or left because of this insanity. Take a look.
Callan Airport, shadow the transportation specialist all the way to them doing the handoff with the sponsor near baggage claim at the final destination. Which Southwest key do you work for?
Okay, the Texas ground base.
Well, some of these kids, I've heard reports that they're, you know, trafficked or raped, and sponsors, there's sexual abuse and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Are those unaccompanied children?
Yeah.
¿Y tú con quién trabajas?
Yo, Southwest Key.
With our first two encounters with transportation specialists, we covertly recorded documents with improprieties. The official ORR verification release form indicates the sponsor is unrelated, but the NGO discharge form indicates the sponsor is his aunt. But it's not just a discrepancy. Tara Rodas witnessed her colleagues at HHS tell her that it didn't matter that children were sent to addresses flagged for sexual abuse.
Other child to the same address, I was told, Tara, we only get sued if we keep kids in care too long. We don't get sued by traffickers.
So tell me, guys, if this is the case that's been going on here, and that we know that there's been trafficking of children and this was going on, then I'm going to pull a Tim Pool here, and I would still ask the same question, even if I didn't hear from him. Well, how much would you have to offer yourself? How much would you be willing to sacrifice or want to get in order to traffic children? I really am curious about this, and I would like to have your comments down below and see if you guys know anything. Because I know there is no price. I'm not going to willingly just give children to traffickers that I know that they're going to be abused. I could not sleep well with myself tonight if I did that. It would leave a horrible taint in my mind to even remotely try to do this. And the fact of the matter is that you have these CBP agents doing this stuff to kids, transporting them, letting them be moved over, and this is what's been going on here. Forget the actual drugs, which is also a huge problem. What about the actual kids as well that are being trafficked, etc. in this situation? And this is what's going on. And I cannot believe that we have border agents that are doing this, and I cannot believe we have Joe Biden that's co-signed off this. So when we say that this is what's going on, this is not being a lie or whatever. We had 360,000 kids gone missing, right? Under the Biden administration. Where were all those kids going? So we have this information out here. And this is from the James O'Keefe's documentary, by the way. And you guys should go and watch it, because it is eye-opening. I only gave you a few clips. I only want to do this because I've been holding on. I had this stuff for a while now, but I didn't want to show it because I want to pay credit to James O'Keefe. You have to go see the documentary. It's on the Tucker Carlson website, and you guys have to go see it. But the point about it is we had CBP agents doing this. They were cutting the wires to let illegal immigrants in, and they are also co-signing essentially for this type of stuff. So I don't know about you, but this is dark, disgusting behavior. I'm glad President Trump is in, and I'm glad that things are going to get sorted out and all that, because this is disgusting. And as I said, this is all alleged. He may have not done this, but this is just a sign that it's being more truth than false. All right, guys, that's it for the video. Let's guys share. As always, take care, my friends.
Burn down the city, scream at the top of your lungs till you're dizzy. You can cancel everything and everybody in it, but it's not your